Well, let's try this again, Texas. We've got Volt Hardpoint with Optic Texas and Toronto Ultra, and this time it's for real. So let's get it on as Optic will be trying to break over from the P2 side, Ultra from the left side of the minimap, and it's all focused up towards the upper hallways here for Optic early.
Yeah, and Optic playing a little bit patient towards the mid doors. Don't want to get naded initially out, and they find every single kill towards Top Cat. 3-for-1 trade. Already Optic Texas controlling a majority of the map. Shotzzy getting aggressive. This is the perfect start for the green wall.
Yeah, and I really like this, you know, kind of again what we were talking about. We've seen moments where Optic get a little bit too far forward. This time it's let's feel out the hit, then hit a pinch, then come back. It's this little bit of wiggle, a little bit of an ebb and flow so far. Good stuff for Optic for the first 19 seconds. Toronto setting up though for their break attempt. They've got hallway control.
And you can already see it on your mini-map right there. Skies is like, okay, you guys are continuously finding all the kills to the middle of the map. I'll just do the dirty work and block the back spawns. But now Ultra in the final 15 have been able to find the break. The only player off the rotation now is going to be Shotzzy. He is going to be overwhelmed. Makes something out of nothing to at least find one. Gives his team an opportunity to find an early break.
Spawns aren't open yet. P2 has just now been enabled, so two Toronto members have to stretch all the way across the map. Big moment here for Insight. Tag down to half HP, and he will be slid on. Really good stuff there for Optic. They'll control the hard point, and they'll have an opportunity to fight off these spawns.
Yeah, they're able to stabilize in that moment, but Kleenex finding that one-on-one gunfight allows two players from Ultra to spawn on the backside of P2. So they're instantly going to be in a position to find this break. Shotzzy knows he's going to get overwhelmed, but there's so much pressure from every single angle. Back spawn secured here for Ultra. They're in, and there's still a lot of time to fight for.
Maybe just a small moment of kind of spawn awareness there. Pred does not realize that Toronto had spawned behind them. But the follow-up looks pretty solid here. 25 seconds to fight for. Pred able to clean up and really kind of just correct his mistake. A nice double there allows Optic to get the scrap time, and now we focus over toward 3.
Yeah, I don't know if Skies is going to read that one player from Ultra spawning towards the back end. Going to try to cut your losses and think about that rotation over towards Snoo. But he's still in the play. Wins the one-on-one, secures the final 15. Now off the rotation towards P3. Big gunfight won by Dashy. Secures arc control. Now you just want to play your life here.
Look, I just got to say, this feels more in control from Optic than what we had seen not just yesterday, but even through the stage qualifiers. And maybe some of that is due to the fact that Pred is 10-2. That doesn't hurt. But as we go over to P3, Toronto trying to work their way back into this game just a touch. 52-27 on the time still as Pred's on 3 in a row. Looking to find a challenge on the Beans. Shut down though as Jodecine's helped out at the cross, and Ultra can still keep it neutral.
Yeah, this is usually a scary part for Optic Texas' game on ball. They don't really play for a lot of time here at P3. They're more focused on maintaining this side of the map. So Ultra with 30 seconds just gonna hop on in. You already have players going on long routes. Big one-on-one there for Beans. You start to be a nuisance on the overextension, but Optic cut them down. Now you have the numbers. Let's go back to that hard point.
And you've got a pinch coming on the way from Shotzzy. Able to clean up 1. AR in hand, actually, for Shotzzy as he tries to get this rotation underway over towards 4. Shots towards Kleenex are decent, but not enough for the elimination. Follow up. No, shut down. Kleenex, big double from him, but Dashy able to hold off the rotation. Toronto will get the scrap time, but Optic will have the setup for New.
Yeah, that's such a big gunfight one right there from Dashy at the right time. You lose that, your teammates spawn all the way across the map. Ultra find an early break. They get a lot of time off of that P3. Now Optic are going to be outnumbered. 3 players versus 4. Skies opens up with the first. Skies is able to find a double. Even 2v2. Optic still trying to hold, but Ultra are in.
Yeah, but you do get Pred kind of bouncing outside the hard point. Big win on the backside. That will have the spawns locked in. Optic now try to reform over towards the hill itself. And wow, Pred is shooting. 13-5. Looking for more as Insight gets shut down by Skies. And now with 35 seconds remaining, Optic is starting to create a bit of a zone in front of this hard point.
And Thunder from down under. He's going insane so far in this map. Number 1, 14-6. Only 9 seconds in the HP, but just keep on slaying, young man. As Optic now up by 30. So 20 seconds to fight for here. Ultra are not going to give this one up for free. They find the kills. They flip the spawn. Basically be a tie game at the end of this one.
Yeah, it's good time right there for Ultra. On the other side, of course, we see that it is Kleenex 14-9, and I always say if Kleenex is shooting like this Ultra team is going to be deadly. So it'll be about a 15-point game as you rotate back over to P1. Optic with the setup currently, but a couple of the members will have to spawn out and try to rotate in, and that's going to cause some confusion here in terms of where exactly this Ultra hit's coming from.
Yeah, Ultra have a lot of mid-map control already. They find every single kill in the feed. If you're Kleenex, just back on up. Make sure we secure those spawns through the back end. Now all of your focus is on the front. Optic on their first break attempt. Pred again opens up with the kill. Pred finds another double. You have the numbers. Work your way on in.
Yep, Jodecine's up top just waiting patiently. Has Kleenex working on the bottom side with him. Shots are decent, but Optic in the time for now. Semtex to push Joe off the angle. Follow-up should be there, but Joe commits into the hard point and actually finds himself right into the waiting arms of his teammates Nade. Insight now on the way in. That will clean up at least 1. And no, nice shots from Insight for 2. Follow-up from Beans is good, and Ultra looking decent for this back 20+, holding the side of the map they want to be too.
Oh, that's double from Pred that he's simply not supposed to walk away with. Ultra are thinking, okay, we trade this, we can walk away with a lot of this time. But at least they still have the spawn stabilized for that new HP. But with Dashy finding 3, that's all 4 dead.
Yep.
Close spawns are still going to be here for Ultra, but that hill's yet to pop.
Yeah, only for 2 members that close spawn is there. So you've got a 4v2 situation here if you're Optic in the new time. And they're waiting to see how this develops. Big 1v1 for Skies, doesn't win it. Follow up from Dashy, not there either. Klinex finds a double. And now all of a sudden, the pinch is on the way here from Ultra. Pred trying to stay alive. Not able to find the shutdown up top at Catwalk in a good moment here now building for Toronto.
Yeah, Ultra no now. The back of the hard point is going to be cleared on out. All of Optic are going to approach from the front. Inside with a trophy at his feet, keeping them alive. But Skies with the shots. Finds that opening kill. Lead change on the horizon. Ultra starting to run away. Flawless so far at this P2, 25 seconds to go, and Optic realistically now have to cut their losses.
Yeah, you got to find this shutdown first, and then hopefully you can create something for the front. Team shots do come through, so Klinex will fall, leaving Insight essentially by himself outside the hardpoint. Nice moment here from Shotzzy, but he can't find the second. Beans trying to stay down, trying to find cover, trying to find some help, and he gets it. Jonas seems able to find the shutdown on the Pred, and Klinex will make sure no one hits on the pinch. That's essentially a full 60 for Ultra.
Yeah, now you are going to be a little bit late off the rotation towards New. Klinex finds that opening kill. Sky should spawn at least close towards his teammates, but Insight already taking a lot of space over towards that art side. Not able to get a kill, but sets up his teammates potentially for a double. Joe still trying to contest from mid-view, while Ultra just soaking up all this time.
Yep, small pinch on the way from Skies potentially. But the problem is Ultra have found some decent time here, going scrap to initial plus extra eliminations around this hard point. Wow, Ultra absolutely turning up and cooking as we head into a Toronto Ultra listen in.
Give me a sec, bro. He's close. Default. Still default.
Default, boys. What's going on? No, both got. Don't give me. Nice, play left.
Push down, Jimmy. Weak. He's weak. Third.
Nice, one house. Look at low.
Trying to get low dirt. 1 time, 1 mid. Okay.
Get my right cross. I'm going to use
Don't
Get right. Get my right cross. I have left cross. Right there. Shot you dead.
Nice, good
I have
shot.
left cross, boys. Okay. Don't worry.
Okay. Do you need me to get time?
I can get the right. I'll get time. You're good.
I heard you.
Make sure you have all the right. I have your left.
I'm trying to help Jimmy right here, okay?
You're left right now. I have left. Left red. That's left.
Close that you. Plants. Jump down. Last guy.
Guys.
He's not having a low goal.
Don't see anything.
You could have got time right.
Was it done?
I still done. It might have been. I'm not sure.
Nice. That's guys. Out credit. He's still credit.
Left. Just miss me a dub.
Cross that Jeep. Jeep, him twice.
Jimmy, I can kill.
Him twice the Jeep. Nice.
Cross as well. Cross.
Let's go.
Cross.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Probably
I'm
the back.
D-back.
I will
Back says me. You went to scout.
Dump. Out default me.
Still back at me.
Dead, man. Nice. Let's get credit.
I have a cross. I can't have a cross, okay?
What? Really? Credit. Let's go.
I'm chow. Dead. Nice.
Fucking boys. Fucking go.
3D right.
One up, dead. Nice. No, absolutely. One up.
You're good. Don't do the top. Both there.
Yeah.
This is big time.
I have a time, right?
Does my friend
Play the
I
rope.
give it.
Yeah. Plenty no. 2 and no.
Scaffold.
Yo, one more front Jeep. He's on the Jeep. One shot. Chow front door. Like scaff door.
Time here.
He's just sat there. Okay, it's guys. Gonna slide forward.
Can't see him. He's on the one statue, one front door.
That's it.
One
Guy's an ego, bro.
Let's play cat together. Okay? Go out. Top. Single.
Joey, tell me what's it up. Shotty.
Single, yeah.
Shotty, he's dead.
Respawn out. Give us a second.
Single. Game books. You want books?
Don't see it.
That's what I was
No,
trying
I'm
to
just Nice.
Count that.
Nice.
Lobby again.
Missing Dash.
He's in mid.
He's hit him.
Nice. Let's go. Dash.
Close. Spawn trap.
Open now. Open. Dead.
Nice, I'm here. Can we call?
Dead. Nice. Be
I have all cat. Don't worry about it.
I've got. God, that went through to Shotzi.
Yo, I have all your cat, okay?
Shotzi got through corner. Get a look at his line pinch. There's two. Pinch Shotzi on the pinch.
I'm cat, by the way.
Can't really beat. Let's play
Shots head.
Shotzi.
More than lobby. Nice lobby. He went nuts. Listen, look at time. Take our time. Take our time.
Let's go, Sammy.
Give me a second.
Give me count.
Yo, pitch your cat. Or play one shot.
That's a top box. There's 2 out.
Play it second.
I mean, that is a masterful second rotation set of hills there for Toronto Ultra. Other side of things, Shotzzy just cannot get in a flow due to Ultra just finding these quick rotations, these really solid setups that just can't get the pacing of this game down.
Yeah, it's just so difficult if you're Shotzzy to walk into some setups that Ultra already are in with the ARs posted up. All these gunfights are just a lot more difficult. Ultra have flipped the switch on the second half. Flawless 60 at P2, scattered at P3, win the rotation over towards P4. And once again, you find yourself up by 100. They can still close it out here in this HP. They only need 10 more seconds.
That last one left alive is Joe Deceives. Wins the first, though, and he's got to have a teammate that spawns near That's going to be an opportunity to kind of watch this cross on the way in. Team kill comes out. Beans trying to finish off the last elimination, and he will absolutely do that here. Wow, what a showing from Ultra. After that first set of hills, it was all purple all the way. That game flow chart is going to look convincing.
Oh, yeah. Ultra just realized, okay, we didn't have the best performance on the first set of hard points. Let's make those quick adjustments so we can start to dominate. And when you find all 4 kills at the ending of that P1, you spun all of Optic through the front. You already had layers being created from Top Cat. They could not even get close with that hard point. And then at that point, if you're Optic Texas, you know you're playing catch-up. You are forced now to play for time at P3, which is usually probably their worst hard point on that map there. They do not like to play for time. They're most likely just want to play for that arc control. But when Ultra find themselves up the way that they did, we can take a little time here, take a little time there. Optic need to be playing for this hard point time. And when they decided to make that play to get in towards P3, Ultra find the kills at the right time to flip the spawns. It's just out-rotating them, out-fundamental on the second half of that game. And Ultra shut up the green wall early in map 1.
Yeah, and I think there was something to kind of take a look at in terms of like the hill time spread. Like Shotzi and Dashy, the two that are trying to soak the most, but Sky's Bread not really in the hill whatsoever. And there's a level of, okay, you take a look at that play and say, who's the one hitting routes? Neither of them were finding success opening up space, especially when we're talking about P2 to P3, but more importantly, 3 to 4. Not at any moment in that second rotation could anyone get through for Optic, and Ultra setups, like you mentioned, were dominant. When Clinics can pull out another AR to help the effort, he goes 33 and 21 with 26 non-traded, 30 under damage, and got Beans also right there with him with 11 assists on top of that. So it's just the ARs were dominant there from Toronto.
It just makes it a whole lot easier when you're winning rotations. You have all the power spots. You know where the pressure's coming in, so your ARs are able to set on up. And Kleenex find himself in multiple situations, either with the AR or the SMG. Has a gun for both situations. And he was able to just shut it down from long distance. So now Optic Texas slow. Start off in this opening HP. Need to try to have a bounce back on that Skyline search and destroy, but Ultra said, okay, we did this before, let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely the case. But a hot start from Fred, mitigated largely thanks to the team effort for Toronto. Like we said, just Shotzi could not find any openings whatsoever, trying to force the issue in a number of moments, and it just doesn't really work out. Like even right here, like in this moment, right, I think we see it coming through. P3, like we're focusing through the hard point because we have to play for time, like you mentioned, but we don't have anyone hitting for routes. So Ultra just get that pinch spawn, you capitalize on it easy, and you never get a chance to ever really see P4 if you're Optic. So tough scenes, but again, learning pains, I think more often than not is what we would say for what we're going to see here for Optic. But the search and destroy, this is where things get really mixy because Toronto has been one of our best search teams on the year, and you're going into a map mode combination that has been pretty beneficial for you.
Yeah, they recently added it to their map pool. I'm pretty sure throughout Major 2 qualifiers, they played it one time. They went all the way to a round 11 where they would ice up into game 5 there. And then yesterday in their series, they were down 5-2. They won 4 rounds in a row. So you have to feel a little bit more comfortable now on Skyline. But when you take a look at that game flow, it's literally the second half of the game. Optic could not take the power spots. Optic could not find rotation success. And Ultra were just able to run away with it.
So Skyline Search and Destroy, as you've already alluded to, but then the Protocol Control, that's one of those maps that you feel like it's just going to be a run and gun, who can just shoot better. And I think the thing about that is if Ultra continue to shoot as straight as they do, if we're going to get this kind of performance from Kleenex, they could look pretty nasty on it. So not exactly what I would call comfortable ground, although I don't know what you would call comfortable ground right now for Optic with the roster swap up and just trying to get your feet wet. So we'll see what they have in store for us. Do you assume here going into the Skyline Search and Destroy that we're going to get kind of, I don't want to say day one strats, but more of the heavy floods, heavy-handed hits? We're playing 3-4 members all together?
I think early into the rounds, yes. But then when trophy systems start to come into play, it's going to be about the SMGs just finding their routes. We know Shots is going to work his way through underground. The same thing could be said for Joe Deceives on the opposing end. But I love like this game plan from Toronto because on a map like Skyline, Shotzi's not going to have those abilities to find a kill and get out. We should be able to put ourselves in a position to instantly find those trades. So they're just trying to minimize the playmaking on the side of Shotzi because truly, he was the reason why they won that Search and Destroy yesterday.
Yeah, it's very true. Okay, we'll see what we get. Other side of things, you talk about the impact that those two guys have had. Joe Deceives and the Respawn has been great, but Beans, he's always got that extra little bit of something special when it comes to the Search and Destroy. He finds himself in a lot of 1v2s. He's making it mixy, put it that way. All right, here's a look back at the last 5 maps for the Ultra. Again, the results have been solid. Wins across the board except for a 1 round 11 loss on Protocol. But more in particular, you look back to that win versus LAG 6-5. Again, the comeback effort that came through. We'll see if they can find a way to start off a little bit more solid, or can Texas find a way to get back into the series? Let's find out.
Yeah, this needs to be a response here from Optic. So far in the season, 3 times you played against Ultra, you have yet to beat them in a control. So Optic Texas gonna start off on the attack. Recovering the bomb a little bit late. Just gaining early info on the stunts and 8 being invested in. Dashy almost times it to perfection, but the team shot's good enough for Ultra to find the first blood.
Yeah, the read was good. You know, if Ultra are tossing nades up top towards the top bedroom and that back staircase, they're likely going to try to hit you through top catwalk. Just cannot win the gunfight, Skies. A little bit of a workout by Beans over through the windows at Piano. But it's a bit of a tricky spot here, especially with Optic trying to isolate, but that's not going to work out. Shotzi drops, and now it's 4v2.
4v2, Skies has info onto 1. Has him a little bit weak, but you're trying to make up for the numbers. Fred unfortunately falls, and that's a clean 4 down. Clean round there from Ultra to start on defense.
Yeah, it just falls apart after, you know, again, that whole isolated play was trying to win over towards the top hallways. Dashy gets caught looking down the smoking guns of 2 different Ultra members to try to follow up to isolate. That doesn't work out. They just can't take care of Beans over towards Piano, so the round just kind of divulges from there.
Switching sides now. Optic going on the defense. You saw when Ultra started to have that comeback yesterday in their series. They were just working together, not really finding isolation gunfights, taking advantage of what they were giving them, and you can already see they take mid-map control, instantly going to work this A-bomb plan.
Yeah, but lots of nades, lots of stuns come through for Optic. They're aware of this. They're going to still allow for the plant to come through inside chicken, make sure no one's under secret in the opening battle won by Fred. Now you've got pressure onto the bomb site for this retake. And Ultra are a bit scattered at the moment. They need to have someone check this bomb because the follow-up is there from Shotzi. Insight on the long route, but it's going to have to be a 1v4, and he's read perfectly. Brilliant retake from Optic.
Beautiful retake there from Optic, and it all starts with Pred just saying, okay, guys, I'm feeling myself after map number 1. I'm going to slide in and challenge the guy who just planted. Finds that opening kill. At that point, Ultra are on the back foot because you had 2 players playing over towards Cobble Steps, but the other guy was working that late pinch. He was just banking on his teammates to try to stay alive. It's just Optic knew we had the numbers. Let's just play the trades. And now the single kill goes in favor of Ultra. Same exact thing on this side of the defense, all tied at 1 now.
And I love that, just kind of following up, knowing that you've got nades and stuns that are landing. Let's just take that chow.
Yeah.
You know that it can't be all 4 members there. Just take that chow. Works out beautifully. So, flawless round for Ultra, matched by a flawless round by Optic. See if they try to get the same read here for Optic on this offense. If they try to read the nades first before they commit. No, this time it's going to be a little bit more aggressive. Fred with the bomb. Trophy system down to keep them safe. Backside kitchen. Couple of shots from Dashy. Fred just looking, hoping he can find some sort of contact, as you also have Shotzi working through mid-map. There's the first bit, but no, Fred backed off, and he's got to stay down.
Oh, yeah, you don't want him to get isolated. Thankfully, Dashy's watching over him.
Great help.
Go 2 for 2 on the trades. Beans and Insight versus Dashy and Skies. The ARs on both ends trying to clutch on up. Dashy has him 1 shot. He's going to commit.
Yeah, that's all information from Skies, knowing that Insight is playing up top. So now they have the push through. Bomb is down, though. And the sides of the map will start to swap. Ooh. Little warning shot. And Ultra will hold their ground here. Backside staircase. Dash is going to see 1, but this is all about, can Skies find the rotation over, and does he even just want to just play this aggressively? Whoa, bold shell here from Dashy.
Yeah, Dashy thinks that Insight was getting a little bit too aggressive, but he's playing super safe on the backside of the couch. Insight, you just got to turn around, try to keep your teammate alive, finds the first 1v2 for Dashy, and he's able to find it. 2v2 good enough. Sub-sight just plays a cruddy angle there. And is able to secure the round there for Ultra. Good stuff there. When the battle goes down over towards that A side, you go 2-2. You get info early on, but Optic, no, we have to recover the bomb. It was just given the info, setting up Insight, having both players weak, and Sub-sight clutches up.
Yep. Just chaos from that position. And you can see it when Dashy starts to rotate back over through mid. He's thinking, ooh, where did Insight go? They had no idea where he was. He's sitting right in front of you. Jonas Eves playing a similar angle here backside the couch. Kleenex is already in towards Jim. And I don't know if Optic are aware of this, so this could be a bit curious as Shotzi's also trying to make a play through backside events.
Cool. Fred strikes again for the first blood. Now you're going to be a little bit more aggressive on this pinch. Is going to be Kleenex, but Shotzi already finds the second kill. Numbers still in favor of Optic. You have all site control.
Yeah, you need to help this bomb if you're Ultra. Insight pushed off his angle. Now you have to go back over to Kleenex's direction. Can he find a way to stay stable over the top of the bomb site? Shotzi going to shut down an Insight, and Kleenex can do nothing through Jim. Wow, back and forth affair here, all defense so far, Jay.
And it's every single time. Optic are finding that opening kill onto the bomb planter. Pred switching up the angles over towards bar side. Strikes for the first blood. Puts them in the numbers advantage. Shotzi instantly finds the second, and then you know Kleenex is behind us.
Yeah.
Beans has to be playing all the way at Cabo, so we have side control. Eventually someone has to check this defuse. And with everything being watched, clutch up in those one-on-ones. Tied at 2. Very intense search and destroy so far between these two teams. Just need to try to find some success here on the attack.
It'll be interesting to see, I think, next time that Optic are on defense. Are they going to keep trying to default play for these retakes? Not try to find any kind of opening aggression on the defensive side. This time, Nade lands over towards Piano, but the Insight Beans AR combo still takes down 2. So put a pin in that thought as Shotzi is going to try to create something. This is a big 1v1. Takes the first, up and over, trying to get out of there. Wow. Oh, just barely able to escape.
The fact that he's able to get out of that. Shotzi doing Shotzi things, but unfortunately they were not going to give up on the cut. Make it a 1v2. The new guy to the lineup, Kenny Clutch.
Shots towards Beans, not quite able to lock in. Easy follow-up, and we're going to stay all defense here. Yeah, just kind of a messy exchange over through the front side of Piano.
It's just a blind counter there.
Yeah, a little bit.
We're thinking, okay, we can take mid-map. We can take a little bit of pool control, but that time, 3 players from Ultra were set up on those angles. The opening first blood onto Kleenex with the nade was good enough, but Beans and Insight watching over. Keep the numbers on their side. All-out defenses still. And every single time, if you're Ultra, like, we've gotten the bomb down twice. We just can't get blooded off of that bomb.
And that's what I really want to kind of focus on here is Optic going to continue to play kind of passive around Kitchen and just play for retakes? Just don't let them get over towards the B side of the map. We'll just retake. Well, they're not going to have the option now because it's a full heavy-handed hit approach over towards top halls. They're trying to get aggressive through bedroom, but the bomb is already planted. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Optic's retake because they're trying to play around the back and they don't have the time to.
You already have Kleenex working on the deep pinch, so he's going to open up with that first blood onto Dashy. Shotzi's able to respond, but now the repositioning good for Insight to assist the teammates a little bit. Kleenex finds the second. Now with Shotzi technically in a 1v3, 25 seconds. I don't know if this round is going to give you enough time.
Yeah, he's not going to have enough time to make this play likely. We'll see. He's astonished us before. This would be one for the ages. And with 13 seconds to clock, shots towards Beans are good, but it'll be Kleenex right behind him, just waiting until we get to the last 8 seconds, and that will complete the round. Yeah, that's just one of those rounds that Ultra just dive into A and say, hey, if they're gonna let us plant for free, we'll just do it quicker and put some pressure onto that retake, which that time Optic were trying to play aggressive in top bedroom.
And I'm loving their offensive approach so far, even though the last 2 rounds didn't go their way. Once they get the bomb down, they're giving up that top hallway control.
Yeah.
They're saying, okay, you guys can take that side. You guys can push through our base. We have a player watching the pinch. Once we get this bomb down, you guys have to be a lot more active.
Yeah.
But then when that first blood goes down with Kleenex on the repinch, Optic are now stuck because you have to watch so many different angles. You do not have the numbers for it. First attacking round secured in Ultra, now up by 2.
Have to have a response here if you're Optic. This time it's going to be the orthodox goal nades over the top and approach in towards A. But look at Ultra's defensive setup this time. They were almost doing the exact same thing that Optic tried to do last round. Full hit up top. They're going to try to get a surround on bedroom. Plant on the way from Skies. And does Pred catch any information on Inside dropping in towards Jim? Not yet. So now it's a 4v4 in the retake.
Ultra just disregarding the pinch. They're going to send it all through mid-TVs. They find the opening kill. Pred forcing out, back on up. Insight finds the second. They got to make something out of nothing if you're Pred.
No, finds the first. Trying to follow up with the top side of the bar. Not going to happen. And Ultra will go up now 5-2. Very clean on that, and just no one had any eyes on that rotation up top.
Damn, when you're seeing the retakes set up right there from Ultra, everything is coordinated. Like, we're dropping down 2 players. We already know that we have top black control. And the way that Optic are playing on their post plants is a lot of one-on-one gunfights. Just leaving a couple openings, and Ultra are able to take every single advantage. Inside drop down into Jim, finds a double. Pred was the bomb planner, he's forced to reposition. But at that point, just don't have the numbers to contest it. Toronto, game point.
Yeah. And we're also on agency watch right now for Skies, unfortunately.
That's good for the bingo.
Okay. Silver linings, Jay. Kleenex looking to get aggressive. Here we go again. Toronto saying, if you don't want to fight us on A, we'll just head on over. Jonas following up behind this. Beans right there with the supply of support. And now it's just down to what else can you create here if you're Toronto. Bomb is down. Both ARs still standing. We've got ourselves a 2v2.
Last time it was the ARs from Ultra able to clutch up in this kind of round. The repositioning, no good from Insight to at least find the first. Beans in a one-on-one, he loves this.
There we go. Bomb to be planted. Puts the clock in play. Skies a couple of shots through. Wilson rotation back. What does Beans choose to do? He's got both weapons to play with. Here comes Skies. Slide on over. Beans has seen it. Over the top of the head. Whoa, what a win from Beans. And that'll be a very clean search and destroy. A couple of casual comments being tossed over to the Optic side of the stage, and Toronto find themselves quickly up 2-0.
They just had a better game plan. You guys got to remember that Optic have only been a team for about 4 days.
Yeah.
Search and destroy is usually the mode that takes a lot more time to try to iron out. But Ultra just sticking to the game plan. You're giving up A-side for free. We will continuously, every single round, just get the objective down. Our post plans eventually will work. But Beans is like, okay, this might be a little bit too easy to start the day. Ultra quickly up 2-0 in the series.
Dangerous tidings here for Optic. And so far, we have not been able to see the instant magic of the roster swap at this point. I mean, yeah, the win yesterday is a big one. It comes with a couple of cinematic moments, a couple of heroic moments, but this Ultra team, when they're playing like this, they look like a top 4 team in the game, if not maybe better than that. So 250-144, the Hardpoint. Again, the first rotation was tight. The second rotation, not at all. It was all Toronto. And then kind of the same thing, defense for defense through our first 4 rounds. And then Ultra just opened it up and absolutely steamroll through the rest, taking it to 6-2. And now we've got a protocol control to look at. And like you mentioned, there has not been a win for Optic on control versus the Toronto team.
Yeah, it's tough, man. And neither squad really like to play protocol. So we'll just have to wait and see when we get there. To the desk we go, though, to break down so far the first 2 maps.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And unfortunately for Optic fans, we just got another bingo square filled out, a donut and search and destroy.
Codcaster was broken. He had one. Just got
He had
word
one.
from production.
Okay,
so we
good.
did not
Okay.
get the bingo card yet.
Guys, I apologize. I take it back immediately.
we thought he did.
Let's take a look at the highlights, though, Allie, because it is now a 2-0 lead for Toronto Ultra after a close start to Hardpoint. Toronto starts pulling away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the side of Optic Texas because Toronto was actually playing incredibly similar, mirroring them in the search and destroy, but they were just doing it slightly better. Good example of that, Shotzi and Kleenex, I want to say around like 5 or 6. They both go for each other's spawn. Kleenex makes that push, he finds 2. Shotzi's able to find 1, but by the time the round reaches its end, Shotzi's stuck in a 1v2 unfortunate situation where they know where he's at.
It's kind of what I talked about before the match. It was like, stylistically, it is the toughest matchup for Optic because of the way Toronto likes to play, particularly in the search and destroy. Like Shotzi trying to get lost behind you, and then you look around and Kleenex is just dissecting your setup, right? So coming into this one for Optic, they were faced with a hard task. It's like, okay, do we want to ban Skyline or Vault? They get rid of Vault, and now you only have 1 rep on Skyline on the season if you lose it.
This has just been tough to watch in the sense, like, you know, I've been very vocal that I thought Kenny was a scapegoat in a way. Like, yes, he was indefensible in the sense you can't drop a .3, you can't play the way he was, but he was one of many, many issues. Those problems are still like glaring. Solo chow after solo chow, misplay after misplay. This team is still not playing well together. And like, I don't want to be too critical because you scrimped for like 5 days. And I'm not putting it on Skies. It's just like the other trio. Like it's still a broken system.
If Shotzi doesn't fry the rest of the series, they will be going home. He is literally their win condition, and it doesn't matter what Pred dropped 30-something. He started off so hot. It just doesn't matter. His impact is not felt the same that Shotzi's.
Oh, I agree 100%. Yeah.
And then you go back to this Hardpoint, and it's just like, we were close in the first half, right? But then you get into the second set of rotations, and it's just a beautiful P2 from the side of Toronto Ultra. And then on top of that, Optic Texas, I mean, we were investing so much with like 20 seconds left at this P2. We had nobody sent over towards the P3 side. Finally, we get a body over there. There's already 2 members of Toronto Ultra. It's another full 60. We move into rotations. There's 1 person from Optic Texas pushing the back of P4, getting literally swarmed by 3 Ultra players. So it's a couple of glaring issues we saw during the online split. It's as simple as looking at somebody and being like, work this with me, right? And I don't feel like we're seeing that.
Well, the issue with this particular map was just kind of like Optic had a great lead, starting off super hot, the crowd's behind them. They tried to invest completely into the P4 on first rotation, and Toronto just did a hell of a job at like contesting it, right? They stayed in the game, and then from there, they're able to take flight.
Allie, the Golden Scuff is on the line at the end of the season for our pick'ems.
Golden Scuff.
Let's
we have
take
an
a
award
look
this
at
year?
where you're
I would have
at.
tried harder.
86
right now.
and 47. Would you like to switch here at halftime?
No, I'm no switcher. Come on. I'm going to stand on business, dude, even if I'm wrong.
Nameless?
Hell no. rocking with my pick. I got to make him some
George
ground,
Clooney,
brother.
listen, I picked the fans, and like, props to Ultra because they've shut this crowd up. I mean, you heard them a bit in the map one. I'm not trying to call it the crowd. Like, they just have not had plays to get hyped about. There hasn't been much to make noise about because they've been getting slammed.
It sounds like you're blaming the crowd.
That's my bad.
Can you give them a little chant?
You could hear a
going?
pin drop in here, though.
No, you can't. You can't. That is due to Ultra. Like, it's hard to get fired up when your team's getting beat up. And I think a lot of people in attendance, you started to believe after a Rocker win, and now you're like, oh shit, the same problems are still here.
Tough
The same problems are still
They're
here.
still in it,
Somebody
though.
wake up hits.
There we go.
We need the drums.
Where are the drums?
Reverse sweep needs to start right now. It's time to kick off control on protocol. We send it back to your casters. Shift and study.
Trying to fuel up the energy just a touch. But yeah, I think I agree largely with the desk talking about Shotzi just need to have a takeover moment.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it from Pred a little bit in the first set of hills, but as we start to go to a protocol control, you're looking at the subs. They need to feast.
Yeah, this is going to be a scary map, though, because Ultra don't really like to play this map. They prefer more of the Hasis, more of the Vaults. Optic don't want to play Vault anymore. They haven't won it in such a long time, so they decided to get rid of Hasi, square up on protocol. This is the map that they played yesterday versus Rocker, and this was the only map watching Optic yesterday where I was like, okay, their teamwork is actually on point. You had Skies playing the proper cuts, Pred and Shotzi getting lost, and then Dashy just absolutely piecing. I know they're currently down 0-2. I know they have yet to beat Toronto Ultra in a control so far this season, but these two young men right here are going to be the difference makers. They need to come alive.
Yeah, look at the defensive KDs. I mean, just untradeable. 2.0 plus when they played against Minnesota. To be fair, Minnesota did not look like their usual selves yesterday, but hey, regardless, stats to stat. And now we need to try to find ways to replicate that going into this control and trying to fuel up this Texas crowd. Protocol control. Can Optic find a way to extend this series into Hacienda Hardpoint, or is Toronto just too damn good today? We're about to find out as we jump on in and see what exactly we're going to get. Because so far, like you mentioned, there hasn't been many match wins anywhere for Optic this qualifier stage, but can they find a way to replicate what they did yesterday? Let's get it on.
Yeah, the records with a new roster don't really put a lot of focus there, but need to try to figure it out here round by round. Next couple of maps, Hasi, Hardpoint. We know that Optic like to play that.
Yep.
And to end it all off on a protocol, a rematch from what they played in the qualifiers, but you gotta get through this one. Optic on the attack first, and Nady's able to connect on to Joe DeCease, but he already takes a lot of space from the mid map.
This is not a spot you want Joe to be living on. Dashy, just a little poke on the Kleenex. But Joe DeCease, yep, front side sidewalk in a good spot. Seeing what he can do to kind of manipulate these Optic spawns. Also finds Skies over towards Heli. And this is not what you want early opening up for Optic. Good shutdown. Okay, now you've got to follow up on the Beans and one more beyond that. Okay, here we go. Now we've got good clearance at mid-map. We can jump on the A point.
Yeah, that's perfectly played right there from Dashy to find two, but Pred winning that one-on-one in towards Grandma's allows his team to get on this A point. First segment is going to be locked, but you have a route being developed on the side of Kleenex. Yep. It's going to be on Dashy to watch this pinch. Beans finds the opening kill, but second segment should be guaranteed. He's able to find a double though.
Yeah, but Pred over towards bottom side Grandma's almost able to kind of do the same thing to Toronto that Toronto was doing to Optic. Not the case though. Second tick of progress going to be largely depleted, if not fully depleted. Dashy doesn't have an angle at it, and Beans with another win. Now on 4 in a row, has completely depleted that second tick of progress. Help now for Toronto, and they're winning every single gunfight. Here's the danger moment as Ultra start to push forward.
Yeah, Optic need to spread their map a little bit right there. They were all focused on that A point. You leave the flank open. Kleenex is able to make a couple problems happen. Now you just gotta focus, taking your time out of the spawn, but 25 seconds to go. Kleenex finds a double. That's already 3, almost 4 dead. Skies, you got one more final push.
Couple eliminations coming through for Optic, but there's still a second line of defense behind us. And Kleenex is shooting! Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, if Kleenex plays like this the rest of the day, this Toronto team is gonna make it to Sunday. 7 in a row for Beans as well on top of that. 20 playing 12. Shutdown is there. Optic a chance to stop the clock over on the A zone. Kleenex the last one standing, and he's going to be dealt with. Hold on a second. There's a chance here.
That's 4 dead. Second segment is going to be guaranteed. Toronto Ultra all swanning over towards tower side. They're going to be forced to work this overextension. But Optic have been able to extend the game clock. Now a minute to work. Down by 5 lives. Need a couple kills to go your way, but Joe and Kleenex are able to find a double.
Yeah, this transition needs to be much more polished, considering that the lack of respawns are significant.
Good moment right here.
Yeah, Shots is going to get on the point. Good win on the inside. Here we go. Wait, hold on a second. 8v12 now all of a sudden. Beans, Joe trying to kind of play on opposite sides of the map. Joe, though, taken down. Good control here for Optic on the high ground, and they still have Skies on the point.
And the game clock is still at a pause. Beans finds an opening through top mid. Effective on the trades is Optic. You're on 5 in a row now after season Skies Bueno. First segment already locked. We just need a little bit of a stack going. You gotta locate where inside as you're finding all the kills. Optic might be able to steal this one away.
7v6, 3-man stack. Pred finally more kills at mid-map. Can they even get here to touch in time? No dash, he shuts it down and whoa, out of nowhere. Optic able to bring that one back with like 4 seconds left before the A zone was going to expire the round. They hop on, they find the kills, and the transition is perfect.
Oh, a big shout out to the ARs, man. Skies and Dashy had so many clutch kills. They were able to shut down Beans, who had a phenomenal start in this opening round. If you were looking for a spark there for the green wall, that might have just been it. Optic able to secure all 6 segments, steal that round away there from Ultra. Now you're in the advantage on the defense.
Absolutely the case. I mean, that's the face of a Bean 7 streak. CleanX dominating in your spawn. Creating something out of nothing right there for Optic. Okay. Can they turn up here on the defense? Give themselves something to work with. Sky's on 6 in a row, still carrying that streak into this next round. Dashy seen top side over the windows. Joe looks like he wants to just hold that battle off for now, but look at Shotzi's run. He's already behind the plate.
Shotzi knows, okay, there's one player coming off the respawn. Let me make sure he's not gonna have a good day. You find that kill on the CleanX again. Now the route up is it. You catch the timing on the inside. Optic have full map control. They have yet to fall.
Yep, this works. Pred still lingering inside 10. Ultra taking their time coming out of spawn. Sky's watching the opposite doorway. 8 in a row. Hellstorm earned. Not quite able to find the 9th, but Pred able to at least follow up with one more before backing down. Ultra will get the space they need to kind of get off spawn and try to set something up here, though.
And I love this route right there from Pred because they're thinking, okay, he's in our base. We got to focus him. But the re-wrap over towards Spiral now finds himself on 5 in a row. Able to put the game clock out of pause though with Beans hopping on the B point. Pred's gonna be one shot commit still on the gunfight. Optic are starting the gun. 40 seconds left for Ultra to try to work something.
Yep, Ultra field a couple members over the middle of the map though, especially with CleanX trying to float down towards PC. Dashy on 4, the one responsible for the A zone. Up top on gun, wins the first. Does he get a look at a second? No, not quite. CleanX with a shutdown, a double kill of his own. Clock comes to a pause at 30 seconds. 23 plays 17 with Pred working on a long route around the backside of the Ultra spawns.
Yeah, Pred's gonna take the super long route here. Guarantee at least 1 kill over at this A point. But you think you're sweet. Joe is able to read that play. So now you have to invest this Hellstorm. Second segment is already locked, only able to connect on 1 though, so Ultra might still have an opportunity to extend the game a little bit.
Yeah, Shotzi though able to clear up the point. Get in for the contest. Does he get the second elimination? He sure does. Now Optic can try to funnel through the mid. Get back over, see if they can maybe deplete some of this progress or at least keep Ultra at bay. 18 seconds on the clock. Dashy still at mid. Shut down. That should be enough for Ultra to get the extra 60, and Optic will have to default playing for the B defense.
Yeah, just got to work the overextension down. Time is going to be extended. Shotzi just going to take his time over towards Spiral. Wants his teammates to find a couple kills so he can play for the spawners. Pred and Dash are able to find 2. Now Shotzi can work.
Yep. Same route we had hit before. Same result. Finds inside off spawn. Does get traded out though. Pred trying to follow up in through mid. We still have Skies watching over through staircase side, but he's shut down. And uh-oh, here we go. Ultra able to stretch across the field and get onto the B point.
And now what can Pred do? Farthest player pushed on out. And have Insight watching his pinch, playing for the timing. Pred is going to attack from mid-gun. Unfortunately, shoots at a ghost. First segment almost being captured there for Ultra, but Pred found the opening.
Nades land. Clearance over the top of the zone is good. Insight still hanging towards gun, but Sky shuts it down for the trade. One more player to find that Joe Deceives on the point. He's a 1v1 there. And this might be a second tick of progress. He's got help on the way here. If you're Optic, you got to hope these nades are going to land. Shotzi's nearby. Dashy's kind of close, but there's a second tick of progress. Can you get here to contest this? Dashy's trying to work through mid. Skies finds 1. Third tick almost done. You got to find these kills. Skies jumps on in, but the follow from Ultra is too good, and Dashy cannot get on the zone in time. We've got offense for offense.
Yeah, that's big shout outs right there to Joe Deceives, man. He was the only player on that B point, was able to find 3. Allow his teammates off the respawn to instantly put themselves in position to watch those crosses. The late round heroics again, this time on the side of Ultra. Able to tie the game, tie the segments. Make up for that advantage that Optic had.
Yep. Okay, reset, let's go again. Here we go. We got some rowdy fans this morning, I love it. Offense was solid for them. Again, it just came in heroic fashion. You want to see them try to win out a little bit more with those routes that Shotzi was able to try to find in their first offense. Can they follow up on that? This time, more focus over towards Sidewalk. Joe, same route, but he's been seen by Skies. Still finds his first one versus Shotzi. Skies not affected by that stun. Follow-up for the trade is good by Fred.
Fred already taking a lot of space in the middle of the map. I don't know if you're going to be able to read this if you're Beans, but somehow, some way, with the AR, able to win that one-on-one. One player from Optic Texas, though, is on the A point. Shotzi now working the pinch. This is his happy place.
Yep.
Can he continue to find a couple more clutch kills for his teammates to guarantee some segments?
Fred shuts down Joe for the spawn trap. Follow-up from Dashy's also good. Numbers now starting to build for Optic. And they're still looking for more eliminations. They may be trying to focus over on the re-wrap to B here. Skies will jump onto the A zone to stop the clock. Shotzi with the route, trying to find some stray Ultra members on the rotation over, and he will catch Beans, or will he? Finally, Fred able to find the elimination, following up on the damage, and they know that Insight's playing up top too.
Oh, and Optic are finding every single kill. Now you have pressure
Yeah,
on both points. Show Deceives is forced to invest the Hellstorm now. Little missiles go split. You take down the player at B, you take down Dashy at A. Still done it. There's a couple players from Optic Texas still roaming around your spawn. 40 seconds to go. Optic up by 2 live. Season Skies Bueno almost pops a double. But Optic should be able to extend the time a lot earlier this time.
And you still have Fred working on a route here to try to control ledge, if not a little bit deeper over towards tower. This is a good setup here for Optic to transition from A to B, but Ultra get the read, find the kills they need. Shotzi back through Castle. Oh, he's been seen. Oh, good shutdown by Joe. Dashy right here with him. Yeah, get him on the double. Fred also clears off one of the spawn trappers. This should allow a route to start to develop.
Just can't let Beans make an impactful play. He's at least able to get one. Allows his teammates to have the numbers. Start working in towards this retake. Inside is able to strike. Fred effective on the trade, but better trades on the side of Ultra allow them to stabilize in that moment. Down by 1 life. A lot of map control for the squad in purple. And now if you're Optic Texas, take your time on a spawn.
This is all for timing right now for Joe Deceives. Well, how much can he create? Only 1. Even in the life count, 12 plays 12. 55 seconds on the clock. Insight over the top of the previously captured A zone, just trying to hold on to mid-map. And he's done well to this point to keep the focus of Optic pretty much purely on him from these top Windows positions. Finally, something's starting to develop over towards field side, though.
What a
the
read.
focus needs to be over back towards Beans. He's the one sitting tucked in the corner.
That's such an insane read to find that kill on the Shotzi. The shot, so at least the comms good enough for Kleenex to set up Insight to find that kill onto Pred. 30 seconds to go. Optic.
Good win.
Need to find a couple kills. Big win to start it off with Shotzi, but the repinch again from Beans is going to cause you a couple problems.
Yeah, and Joe's also holding from the front. Follow-up from Kleenex is good. Now it's down to the 9v6. Shotzi, what timing does he find on this long pinch? Because you've got to get on, put some pressure. You need to find elimination to pull this Toronto defense back. Because your teammates are just being spawn trapped. You got to go. You got to find some way to get back over towards the zone. Now it's just on to Shotzi. Playing right around the B point. He gets shut down, and Ultra are going to hold this defense. 3 ticks is all that Optic will get.
A lot better from Ultra on that defensive side. I know they're thinking about their first defense. We definitely should have been able to close that one out. At that time, you had players just playing their corners, including the ARs. Usually just expecting the SMGs to take space away. At that time, you had Beans consistently roaming through Trip's window, catching timing on the pinches, finding clutch kill after clutch kill, giving his teammates opportunities off the respawn to contest it. Now Optic go on defense. You're down by 3 segments. You're playing for a shutout here to try to get back-to-back.
Yep. 25 and 17 from Joe. Just getting it done with both weapons. You see him obviously in the final play right there at the AR, but so much disaster being created with the Jackal in hand as well. Can Optic respond? Again, 3-tick advantage is what they have at the moment. Break off largely and purely focused on the A point. Nice shots from Joe, helped by Beans. He's on 4 in a row. Looking to see if they can catch anyone else over the top of the A zone, but it's going to be Skies up top to find the shutdown. And now, again, Toronto just do not get creation of space, at least not through mid.
Yeah, and if you're Shotzi there, you want to take your time there. The timing wasn't in his favor. Gives up his life for free, and that allows Ultra to get out of their spawn for free. Still yet to find success in at least 1 segment. It's been 35 seconds wiped off the round. Kleenex is trying to put a pause here at the B point. All of Optic, though, just roaming around mid-map.
Yeah, Kleenex got a really good amount of information on where this Optic defense is, but no one from Toronto can find them. They can't get the eliminations that they need to allow any progress on either zone. Insight finally able to clear out Dashy from 10, but Shotzi's still floating around. Fred right there with them. finally a couple of kills come through, and now we get kind of a reset as we have a 2v2 starting to develop, and Ultra trying to push out. Shut down, Skies just able to find one before dropping to Insight.
And if you're Ultra, you're playing for 3 seconds. You don't want to go back-to-back attacking rounds, but Optic aren't giving it up for free. Shotzzy looking for this big one-on-one gunfight versus Insight. But you still have both SMGs applying the pressure from the back end. You find the initial two. Let's get them off A. We can shut them out.
This is big. You got a repinch coming on the way from Shotzzy as well at the same time. Toronto has to try to flood their way forward in towards A. There's time for Shotzzy to come through, find himself too. 17 seconds on the clock. That is all you need to try to stop if you're Optic. Follow up through mid coming through. That works out where Skies finds the kill. Last player you're really looking for now is Insight. Where is he gone? He's back on the A point. Ultra out of spawn, trying to make their way over towards B. Kleenex is able to drop. Now it's just down to Insight. He will also fall. Maybe an advantage here for Optic. Beans over the top, finding one. Stopping of the clock is still being put together as Joe's on the B point, but as he dropped, that might be it.
And Ultra just need to get on A. It's 2v1, you have Dashy surrounded. You're able to find the kill. 3.4 seconds. Optic finding the trades, but Toronto at the right time find all 4 in the feed. First segment locked. The stack is going to be in. Second segment guaranteed. They're going to be able to extend the game.
Yeah, Trophy keeping all 3 of those Ultra members safe. And hold on a second, we're not done yet. Kleenex up top. Shut down onto Shotzzy. Chance to rotate through mid. Does Pred see this? Got a spot for it. Joe deceives. Backside tower. Uh-oh, that's 3 dead. Now all of a sudden Ultra on with at least 3 members.
Yeah, I don't know how Pred didn't get anything from that top window. Everyone just crosses right through mid-gun. Now the 3 stack is in. Ultra had the second segment guarantee. I don't know if Optic can get there.
Not looking good. Bean still shutting him down through mid-ledge. Can anyone touch it? Time? No! And Ultra will 3-0 Optic Texas, bouncing him out of their home major, and in convincing fashion at that.
Look just like the series that they played online, man. You outclass them in the hard point and the fundamental part. Out-rotate them on the second half of the game. The search and destroy early on was going blow for blow, but Optic couldn't make the adjustments to shut down that A bomb plant. And when you get to the protocol, it's just these late round heroics. Like, you had Ultra exactly where you wanted them. It's just we're not watching the proper cuts, knowing that they're off the respawn. We're always trying to catch the timing, allowing them to get out, and then trying to work that deep pinch, but just allowing them to stall the time by getting over towards B, opens up that point at A. You clutch up in a couple gunfights, you get the stack, you're able to extend the game. But Optic, unfortunately, are gonna fall short here at Major 2. The green wall is dead silent. Ultra fans feeling good after that one. But Optic Texas, with the new roster, still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of the follow-up point here. I think you kind of take both sides. For Ultra, this is the team that looks like a top 4 squad at least. For Optic, now you get to kind of get yourself set up. And it's tough, I think, to look at the Minnesota series, compare it to this one, and point to these are the things. This is the thing that Skies is going to bring to the table. Because it really was just like a, here you are, throw it into the deep end, see what you can create. I won't say he played poorly. No, I wouldn't say he played great. It's just kind of one of those things of, we need to figure out what the identity of this new Optic team is going to be. This is a tough environment to do that right off the rip.
Yeah, man.